Thank you. So that was a great introduction. And one of the key things that was part of my life 6 years ago was anxiety. And some people I know thought that I was crazy, to borrow a line from the song. So they used to call me Loopy Loo, and that was the name of my blog that I started writing a few years ago to share my journey. But 6 years ago, my life was dramatically different. I was frazzled. I was always on the verge of overwhelm. I felt the pressures of life were constant, that I had to be a certain way, my house should be a certain way, we should be doing all these extracurricular things, and I was just overwhelmed all the time. And you might think, yeah, that's often the life of a mum with a toddler and a preschooler. But let's look a little bit behind the closed doors. The clutter was pretty bad. Yeah, there was mess. Yeah, there were the umpteen plastic toys that come with toddlers and preschoolers. But there was also on the hall table several handbags, several pairs of shoes, piles of magazines that maybe I read 3 years ago, or maybe I hadn't read them at all. And there was shopping, and there were hats, and there was stuff everywhere. But let's go a little bit deeper. So, yes, the toy room was a mess, but I had 2 rooms in the house that were the true bastions of my clutter. They were the spare bedroom, where you can see a pram that wasn't even mine, a bassinet that my children had clearly long grown out of, Tupperware that was in excess of my Tupperware needs, and toys. And then my study was a whole other level of holding on to stuff. Of course, there were the photos from all the years in the past and all the trips overseas and the baby photos, but there was also boxes of memories that I'd brought with me 17 years ago when I moved from Queensland. Memories and mementos that went all the way back to my childhood. Letters, cards, drawings, but I never looked at them. They just sat in that box. Eleanor Brown said, "Clutter is not just physical stuff. Clutter is old ideas, toxic relationships, and bad habits. Clutter is anything that does not support your better self." And that was just such an eye-opener to me. My house was full of clutter, and so was my life. But as I said, I was dealing with anxiety. And when I was dealing with anxiety, and even now when I deal with anxiety, for me, it can paralyse. I feel overwhelmed by the tasks in front of me. Just cooking dinner can be a bit too much sometimes. So in the face of all this mess, where to start? I started with my bedroom, the old line of go and clean your room. And so I did. I decided that I needed at least one space that was calm and safe and inviting. It became my sanctuary. So there's a talk going around of a military man saying to start your day for success, you should make your bed. And that's become a habit of mine, to make my bed, to make that smooth, clean surface. I cleared away the boxes of tissues, the 3 different hand creams, the piles of books that I was never finding time to read, and all the other clutter that was on my bedside table, and replaced it with a lamp, a glass of water, some fake flowers, and a little birdie that matched my bedspread. These were things that helped me to feel calm, and they, to borrow a phrase, they sparked joy. Once I had begun this journey of clearing out the stuff, I knew I needed to be taking better care of myself. So in this calm space, I then really started what's become a common term now of self-care. But I think the message of self-care somehow gets distorted in this consumerist society, that self-care somehow needs to involve going on a yoga retreat for several days, or a massage in a lovely day spa. Now, while those things are beautiful and wonderful and they may be perfect for you, but if you're starting with nothing, what can you do? So for me, it was simply tuning into my senses. When I felt overwhelmed by the noise, the stuff, the pressures, I would retreat to my bedroom. I'm still known to do this. Close my eyes. Placing that pillow on my eyes just helped me to sink into the space. Putting the headphones on, sometimes even without music, just muffling the noises from the household was enough. And I would breathe. And slowly breathing, tuning into my parasympathetic nervous system, I could then start to smell the lavender in the eye pillow. I could then start to feel my body and where the tension was and where I was sinking into my bed. So these simple steps of tuning in to my 5 different senses in different ways was the beginning of my self-care. And then I had to think, once I've stripped back all the stuff, when I've let go of the bad ideas, which for me was the shoulds. My house should be full of decor items and we should have this and we should have that. I should be taking my children to several different extracurricular activities. I should be dressing like the other mums at school. I should be working a certain amount of time outside the home. I should be capable of cooking meals every single night. When I let go of those, when I let go of the toxic people who were in my life and simply walked away, when I let go of the clothes in my wardrobe that didn't fit me anymore, when I let go of the pieces of paper that were stuffing my study, I needed to work out how to fill myself up. Not with stuff, not with clutter, but how to fill my cup. What was I really trying to live for if it wasn't that idealised keeping up with the Joneses family life that's put out there across social media with all of our positive images of how wonderful and how much we love our children 24 hours a day, every single second of it. That facade on social media, I stepped behind that. I moved beyond it and realised I needed to work out my why. Another term for it might be my purpose for my family. And on our trips throughout Western Australia, it became really obvious that actually the glue that holds my family together is our shared love for outdoor experiences and adventures. So that's how I realised I needed to move forward with the decisions in my life. I needed to come from that point of view. Is this leading to my why? Does this thing that I want to buy, does it support me to live a slower, simpler life that allows me the time and the energy to go on adventures with my family? Not only that, sometimes I need to literally fill my cup with a double shot latte first thing in the morning or a nice Earl Grey tea in the afternoon, and then I need to drink it mindfully. I need to slow down and tune in to those simple experiences in my life. As I said, it doesn't need to cost you a lot of money, but time is our currency. And by removing all of these pressures and letting go of the shoulds, I was then creating time for myself, time and priority to take that walk, to watch the sunset, to treat myself to a smoothie after it all. Just recently, I celebrated my birthday and my husband was away, and old Louisa would have been upset that her husband wasn't there to do all the fancy things and make her day super special. But this Louisa was happy to go out into her garden and sit in the sunshine in her striped pyjamas and unmatching slippers and drink her cup of tea and marvel at the lavender that was growing. If you would like to join me on this journey of slowing down and simplifying, then please connect with me on Facebook at LoopyLoo or on Instagram at LoopyLooWA. But before I go today, I'd like to share with you some of the people who helped me along the way. My friend Kelly, Exeter in Perth, who writes a blog about a life less frantic, and she also has shared about her anxiety and breakdown. And my friend Brooke, who also has shared about her anxiety and breakdown, but she's written this fantastic book called Slow that's just been released. And it really helps you to start the journey and get all the way through and make the mistakes and pick yourself up and live your best life. Thank you.